Have you ever looked at someone who's incredibly smart, really capable, and wondered why they just seem stuck? We often assume that making bad decisions is just a failure of intelligence. But what if that's not it at all? What if the real problem isn't about how smart you are, but something quieter, something much more fundamental?
So in this explainer, we're going to peel back the layers on that very idea. First, we'll talk about the real blind spot that holds so many of us back. Then we're going to explore how it actually shows up in our day-to-day lives, with other people, and also the hidden patterns it creates inside of us. And finally, we'll get to a really simple but powerful shift, moving from just thinking to truly noticing.
All right, so what is this invisible barrier we're talking about? Well, the central idea is pretty simple, but it changes everything. The thing that's really tripping us up usually isn't a failure of our intellect. It's something else entirely.
Just think about it for a second. We're all taught to value intelligence, right? Our ability to solve problems, our mental horsepower, but the psychological reality is often quite different. The real barrier to our growth, to making better decisions, it isn't a lack of smarts, it's a lack of awareness.
So what exactly is awareness? Well, you can think of it as the ability to just observe yourself in the moment, to see your thoughts, your feelings, how you're coming across to others, all without judgment. It's like a clear mirror. And without it, even the most brilliant minds can get caught in these loops that they don't even see, let alone begin to understand.
So how does this lack of awareness actually show up in our lives? Let's start by looking outward, at the subtle but really powerful ways it affects our relationships and our daily interactions with the people around us.
The first sign, and maybe the most common one, is all about the gap between what we intend to do and the impact we actually have.
You might think you're being direct and helpful, but have you ever noticed someone just kinda pull away from you? See, people with high awareness are constantly reading the room. They pick up on those subtle shifts in tone and body language, and they adjust. Without that awareness, we can leave a trail of confusion or even hurt and never really know why.
And the second sign, this one takes us deeper into the way we talk to each other every single day.
Communication is so much more than just words, isn't it? It's the feeling, the timing, it's all the things left unsaid. When our awareness is low, we might take sarcasm literally, or the deep emotional current running under someone's words just sails right past us. Our conversations stay on the surface, and it's so much easier for misunderstandings to pop up.
And this all leads to a really powerful and often invisible disconnect.
You might see yourself as confident, but how is it actually landing? Is it coming across as arrogance? Maybe you think you're just being quiet and thoughtful, but are others seeing you as cold or disinterested? This gap creates a blind spot that's almost impossible to fix because, well, you don't even know it's there.
So just take a moment to sit with that. In your life, in your interactions, does the effect you have on people consistently line up with the effect you want to have? Okay, so let's shift our focus now. Let's look inward. Because the signs of low awareness aren't just external. They operate deep inside our own minds, creating these patterns that we rarely, if ever, stop to actually question.
Now, for a really powerful internal sign, one that quietly steers every single decision we make.
Here's the trap we all fall into. When we're feeling something strongly, our thoughts feel completely logical. They feel like the absolute truth. If you're stressed, everything seems urgent and overwhelming. If you're angry, every little obstacle feels like a personal attack. Low awareness means you don't see your mood coloring your whole world. You believe you're being rational, when really, your feelings are in the driver's seat.
And now for our fifth and final sign. This one is perhaps the most subtle of them all.
Do you ever feel like you're having the same argument, just with different people, or facing the same kind of roadblock at work over and over again? When we lack awareness, each event feels like a brand new problem. We don't connect the dots. Awareness is what turns that raw experience into true wisdom. Without it, life just kind of repeats itself.
So really think about that for a second. What are the recurring themes in your career, in your relationships, in your own head? These patterns, they're not random. They are messages, just waiting for you to notice them.
Okay, so we've identified these signs, these blind spots that can keep us stuck, but just knowing about them isn't enough, is it? So how do we actually start to move forward and find some real, meaningful growth?
And this is the most important thing to get. These signs of low awareness, they don't scream for your attention. They're subtle. They operate quietly, in the background, shaping our lives from the shadows. And that's exactly what makes them so powerful.
And this brings us to the fundamental shift. The answer isn't to try and outthink the problem, to just apply a more intellectual muscle. The solution is much quieter, much gentler. It's about moving from thinking harder to simply noticing more. It's about taking that pause to ask, what am I actually feeling right now? How did their face change when I said that? It's a shift from analyzing to just observing.
This is really the heart of it all. You can be the smartest person in the room, but genuine, lasting growth, it doesn't come from what you know. It comes from how well you know yourself.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. The real question isn't just about how smart you are, it's about clarity, it's about perception. How clearly do you see yourself while you're in the middle of living your life? That's where the real work and the real growth truly begins.